All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Terraria. It's been a little while. Kind of, I don't know, want to balance out like the 2 games. So I did a bunch of brain roll streams, and now we're back to this game. There's something going on right now. I'll head over to right now, but we're right at the start of hard mode. And the beginning of hard mode can be a little bit slow. Like there's just a bunch of things to do. Some of them can be a bit grindy. But we'll see. I'll try to get through things fairly quickly. I kind of have a plan, but right now there's a sandstorm. And there's something that happens during a sandstorm that I want to get. Ignore these. So this is also affected by the hollow. At the start of hard mode, your world gets hollow and corruption that spawn in 2 different areas. Oh, hello there. And this is just where the hollow happened to be, which is nice actually, because I wanted to... Okay, the sandstorm is over. So we're not doing that. Also, let me know if the sound is working well, because that has been a problem with Terraria. So, you know, if you can hear the music, if you can hear the game audio and stuff. The music might be a bit loud. Yeah, just let me know. Yeah, Forbidden Fragments, that's what I was going for. It's something that you can get from the desert during a sandstorm, but of course the sandstorm ends immediately, so we're not doing that. I think the first thing I want to do actually is get some weapons. The one weapon in particular you'll have to go down for. Now I think something that I really like about hard mode is you probably have a elevator, right? If you want to get to the underworld very quickly, you can create this elevator to get down really quick, and then you have access to a bunch of underground, like all of these caves I have very quick access to. And down here the hollow and the corruption spread all the way down here, so I like to go down here to basically farm anything related to those 2 biomes, because you know this is where the underground corruption is, roughly in this area, and I haven't explored this at all. But going to the underworld will still be a place where I can find underground corruption stuff. I'm also looking for these ores. It's not been the huge focus. There's I think a demon conch. You know, I forget where that drops. Oh. Okay. Well, goodbye, wizard. I need the talk to that wizard. He sells some important items. But it would be expensive because he does not have a house. Hoik elevator. Oh, Hoik. I should do some Hoik stuff eventually. So this ore right here, I can't mine it yet. I'll have to make a pickaxe from mithril. That's kind of the progression. Early hard mode, it's like mine palladium with a molten pickaxe, and make a palladium pickaxe, then mine mithril, and make mithril pickaxe, and then mine adamantite. And there can be different ores that show up. Imagine that. These are just the ores that showed up in this world. And it can be a little grindy to just have to essentially mine these ores. But I don't know, it usually doesn't take too long. You only need to mine a little bit of palladium to make a pickaxe, then a little bit of mithril to make a pickaxe and an anvil. And then it's just, you mine a bunch of the last ore. And that's what you actually make stuff with. If you want to mine enough to make like a full set of armor for each ore, then it takes a long time. The weapon that I'm using right now, this Flower of Fire. Oh, goodbye. It's a really nice weapon to have for this stage of the game. When you make it to hard mode, suddenly the whole world is filled with enemies that are significantly stronger. and who also have much more defense. And defense is just a flat reduction of damage. And so if you have a gun or weapon, like this one for example, this is a pretty effective weapon. So you just shoot projectiles everywhere and they bounce around and hit multiple enemies. But it only does about 30 damage. So if an enemy has like 20 defense, which is like a pretty reasonable amount of defense for a hard mode or an early hard mode enemy. Oh. That's a very rare enemy. That just kind of showed up right there. But yeah, if an enemy has 20 defense, then it will only take 10 damage from the water bolt. Or is that how defense works? It depends on your difficulty. Either way, this 30 damage weapon is significantly weaker. And so that's why a weapon like this one, that does 80 damage, that will still deal a significant amount. Like it's still like 50, 70 damage to these enemies. So having a high damage weapon, it's very effective. Entire rain world map in Terraria. Halfway done with the first round. You should probably use some sort of, if you want to follow through with that, you should probably get some sort of world editing tool and make a bunch of like templates and then just copy those templates all over the place. If you're building everything manually, it's going to take forever. But a lot of rooms look very similar to each other. So just make one room, or like a handful of rooms per region, and then copy those, and then make the slight changes to the environment to actually fit the rooms. Play console. Well, okay. Good luck with that. Something else that we're looking for in early hard mode is mimics. This chest is just a normal chest, but it's also trapped. I'm not gonna, well, actually there are some items I want still. But we're actually looking for mimics because they have some pretty good items. That's a flare gun. Oh, the wizard is still alive. That's kind of surprising. There's also these, that's not too expensive. I think this is worth it. I'll buy some other stuff when I get in my house, so it'll be a lot cheaper. In the underground, I'll talk about that too. In the underground hollow and corruption, enemies will drop souls of light. Souls of night. And these are kind of like generic crafting materials. So you end up needing to farm quite a bit of them depending on what you want to make, of course. Which, like it's, I think it works fine. Because these are kind of like the main areas you want to go in early hard mode, right? And so you're like, okay, if I want to progress, I'm going to need these souls. So I would go to these areas, and these are where you can find a bunch of like weapon upgrades, and, like just various other random items. These crystal shards, they're pretty useful for a few things here and there. I don't know if there's much else I want to get. I might try to look for a little bit more mithril. I think I have enough crystal shards or whatever. It's a predicament. Don't do that, by the way. Bad idea. These guys drop a very good item at like a very low chance. Also, there's a lot of them. That weapon does no damage at all. This Flower of Fire is pretty much the only useful item, or only useful weapon I have. Just immediately going for a mech boss. If you're able to, like, go for it. It depends on which one you fight. Maybe like the twins or Skeletron, whichever one you're better at. I feel like for thank you, nice shot. For the destroyer, you definitely need to prepare at least like an effective weapon. Okay, I'm using a lot of mana potions. When you drink a mana potion, it lowers your magic damage for a short time. But since these mana potions only recover 50 mana, I have to kind of spam them. I want to keep using my weapon. But I will upgrade the mana potions pretty soon. You can make armor at Demon Altar, so that's the alternative to the anvil. That's an interesting strategy. I guess I haven't really thought of that, but I don't think I'm good enough to just fight the mech bosses immediately. A bit more stuff up here. First mech boss is always weaker. I know that's true for Calamity. Calamity changes up the boss progression a whole lot in early hard mode, where it basically spawns in Cobalt and Palladium, and you fight the first mech boss. Still does decent damage, and then that spawns in Mithril and the other ore, which then lets you fight the next mech boss, which spawns in the last two ores, and then defeating that mech boss gives you the hollowed bars plus the ores. Okay, I think that is mostly everything. I don't know if that's the case for vanilla, if the first mech boss is easier. I didn't really pay attention. Oh, full moon. I should probably actually. Shoot, I'm gonna build the house really quick. If I can get the wizard up while it's nighttime. I also need to get wings. I don't need to get them. Apparently some people would rather not use wings. I'm very much used to using wings, and I guess I'd replace the worm scarf if I'm... Because I like mobility is really important, even compared to such a good defensive accessory. So I think I want to build the house like right here, just so that it doesn't get in the way of the desert. And I'm just gonna build this really quickly. Something that I kind of feel mixed about in this game is it feels like there's some items that are like almost necessary. And they're definitely not, like, you can go with whatever build you want, of course. Whenever I'm playing, I kind of gravitate to the same set of items. Like Hermes boots, the shield, wings, and the obsidian shield. And that's like 4 accessory slots, so you only have 2 other slots to like have any customization. Greater mana. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I want to get. Wow, nice dodging. Or maybe I'm just have bad aim. Meanwhile, someone is having an experience. I'll just sell this, I guess. I just need to do some organizing. Of course, when you enter hard mode, you're going to have a bunch of new materials. So you need to find places to put them all. Go in here too. You also got this item. Immunity to broken armor. A debuff that decreases your defense. On its own, it's not very good, but you can combine it with other items. So this gives immunity to weakness and broken armor. And eventually you get like a whole bunch of those items that give you immunity to random debuffs here and there. And they combine together to make one like super accessory that makes you immune to like 10 different debuffs. Which you can get if you want to. But it takes a long time. Really? No, this is the one thing that's grown. This is kind of cool that there's options. Like there are a handful of items that you can combine together to make like one like super item. Like these boots have like multiple upgrades that I could get. But lightning boots, you know, they work, so I don't really care too much right now to like grind for those items. Why does this sound like Hollow Knight music? I know what you're talking about. Okay, there's one thing I want to do right now. I would need more souls. Okay, well, let's grind for that a bit. Guess I'll spend a bit more time in the hollow. So this item, I keep thinking that I have a pylon that goes down, but I have to fall down here. I want to make the Crystal Storm weapon. It may not be the most effective weapon. However, it feels like a special weapon to me because I think it might have used to been the strongest magic weapon in the game, alongside like the Mega Shark back in 1.1, which is the first update that I played. So I kind of got used to the Crystal Storm being like the magic weapon. And it may be outclassed now with like all sorts of different stuff and just later progression items. It still feels special. So I want to get it anyway. And also we can just have a look at how it compares to just other magic weapons that we'll get later. Forgot about that. Making worlds with open air being filled with lava. I think I know what videos you're talking about. I haven't really tried any challenge like that. 30 deaths. Have you been counting? Okay, so I won't die this time. Oh, traveling merchant, great time to show up. Feel like I'm doing something right now. I like to go down here for souls. Because the underworld enemies are easier, but we're so close to the hollow that they'll still drop souls. Like this beetle wall. So this lava fire doesn't go through these platforms. Still no souls. We might be here a while. I think I am close enough. I don't think traders can drop souls. See just how much more effective this weapon is against these pre-hard mode enemies. Yeah, no souls at all. You know, I never really used this weapon. I think it's a lot better than I remember it. Okay, actually no souls at all so far. That's cool. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Nice. Yep, there's one. I'm gonna need like 20 more. Okay, it is kind of annoying. Because there's like nothing else I really need to do. Actually, I guess I need to mine next ore, so I'll do that. Yeah, I forgot I made this pickaxe. I'll just get souls along the way. When I go for... I think I'm going to make this weapon and then get like a water candle battle potion. Items that increase enemy spawn rate. Make this process faster. Soul up here. This guy. This item I just picked up, it reminds me of something that I didn't want to remember. Where is it? This item right here, living fire block. It's like a background wall that you can place with this animated effect. This item drops from like some random enemies in the underworld with a pretty low chance. And it's used in some Calamity mod recipes. It might not be used anymore. They might have changed some of those recipes around. I've actually noticed when I played Calamity recently that they changed a lot of recipes to be less grindy. Maybe this is one of them that they changed. But I remember one time I was trying to make a weapon that used this living fire block and it took forever. Because it's just like a random like drop from some random enemies around here. And it took forever. Like, why does Calamity have these items that are made with some like random drop? Yeah, how many more souls I need? Actually, probably just one more, 2 more. Yeah, that's 2 more. This is a tortured soul. They can kind of do something. Calamity option to make Scout and XOMX easier. The process of learning the XOMX fight was probably one of the least enjoyable parts of Calamity. It's such a mess. I think they have nerfed the fight several times. Cause I think I fought them like right after the update came out. And it just like wasn't balanced at all. And I don't think it really is balanced now anyway. Traveling Merchant doesn't have anything useful. Is this not enough? Does it require 25? 15. Oh, a spell tome. I just bought a book. I think Supreme Calamitous is a bit better. XMX just feels like projectile spam. Like the fight would have been a lot better if you only fought one at a time. Just having all of them at once is just way too chaotic. All right, you're playing in after Saint. Yeah, have fun with that. Why is he in the cave? Yeah, Spell Tome. I bought the thing that looks very similar to it. Now you can craft this weapon. Would it actually be an upgrade? Yeah, it should. It might not be effective against like high defense enemies. But I just really wanted to use this weapon. Oh, actually, Ruthless. Okay, it's expensive. I'll keep this. Just because higher base damage makes it more effective against defense. And I don't have too much more money to spend on reforges. I mean, side effect, does that side effect make that much of a difference? Like, it's either the status effect that does a lot of damage, or the projectile itself just does the same amount of damage instantly. Wow, I've not explored that many caves. Okay, we're going exploring. There's a specific biome that I'm looking for. Maybe a potion will help with that, if I have it. Might know what I'm looking for already. Oh, okay, so what you're saying is that the debuff is bad because your armor isn't effective against it, so it doesn't matter how tanky your build is, you're still taking a lot of damage from the debuff alone. That's probably why the debuff exists. Which just means that they need to lower the damage. Ow. Ow. Should have just stayed in the minecart. Just lower the damage of the status effect. I mean, I guess depending on the difficulty you're playing in, maybe if they wanted to deal that much damage. Oh, well, there we go. All those cobwebs over there. Exactly what I'm looking for. These spiders. I feel like the Escal fight is totally fine. Ow. If you have the chair from the Exomex. The chair makes the fight like 100 times easier. Like once you get that chair, the fight just becomes like really easy if you are good at dodging. Otherwise, I feel like the movement mechanics of the game don't really work with that kind of boss fight. So these guys drop eggs. But they also drop a magic weapon. And this weapon, maybe it's not good, but I want to try it out anyway. Also because it has a piercing projectile, so like, this is a good single target damage. Maybe that will be good. Like, crowd control. Wasn't designed to be a Terraria boss? Yeah, it's just a bullet hell in Terraria. Poison staff is mid. Maybe it is. We're gonna find out. But there was a change in 1.4, I believe, where the projectiles can hit the same enemy. So like when a piercing projectile hits an enemy, that enemy is given some amount of immunity. So that like one piercing projectile can only hit that one enemy once. But then that same projectile can go on and hit other enemies, you know, as it's intended to. But the problem is that the poison staff, it shoots multiple projectiles at once. And if all those projectiles hit the same enemy, then they're able to get iframes and be immune to the rest of the projectiles. So only one projectile would hit out of like the 4 that it shoots. But that was changed so that now each projectile has its own like immunity thing. I'm not really sure how it works. But now basically all projectiles can hit at once, and I don't think I've used the weapon since that change. So I just want to see if it actually makes the weapon good. I think that the stylist might be lowering spawn rates. NPCs do lower spawn rates, which is why towns are pretty safe when there's a bunch of NPCs all together. The effects stack. There's no spiders here at all. Simply submerge yourself in lava. Here's all the spiders. They always spawn outside of the biome for some reason. I mean, enemies can't spawn on your screen. They always show up off screen, so I guess maybe this biome is too small. Maybe this weapon... Actually, I think this weapon is good. It just shoots so much faster. But it's kind of loud. So I don't know if this is a weapon that you craft or a weapon that just drops. Also, these guys do a lot of damage. Oh, well, there we go. So far, this looks pretty good. The damage does decrease with hitting multiple targets. Seems alright, and I can still reforge it. These spider fangs you can use to make a dart trap. This must be new. And a summoner set. Maybe I'll still make spider staff. Just because. It's deadly too. Ooh, that boss, the Astrogeddon slime. I think I fought that boss and didn't enjoy it, but I don't really remember that well. That's a boss that doesn't feel like it fits Terraria at all. What do I want to make right now? Oh yeah, the reforge. I'll get these first. It's very well made, but it's not Terraria. All right. I need to do something to get money. Spirit flame? Nah. I'm good. What else? Oh, adamantite. I should probably just get that. Now that I have these better weapons. I keep looking at the map like there's a pylon down there. All of the telegraphed attacks. Oh, there's the spider biome right there. That's cool. I like the telegraphed attacks. I can't say much about the actual experience of fighting the boss, because I don't remember. But that kind of telegraphing I do like it. Crystal Serpent. I don't want a fish. Alright, that's a cool weapon, but also I feel like that weapon doesn't really do enough damage to get past most enemies' defense. Thank you for that. So, oh, there's a lot of spired biomes, just like right next to the elevator. Main pool. Okay. I'm also looking for that one item. There it is. Johnson Crystal. I'll summon a boss for later. I might do that after the mech bosses. It's an annoying fight and it doesn't really drop anything too useful. Did I think that was adamantite? There's the marrow. The item that I never get when I'm playing Ranger. Just how it is. Hey, sharpshooter. Goodness. Not a fan of those guys. They have like random variants to their aim. Sometimes they shoot slightly above or below you. And so if they shoot you when you try to dodge, they might have accidentally shot above your head, so you jump into it. Oh. I wasn't even looking at my health. Mod of Redemption, no. I'm very familiar with Calamity, with Thorium pre 1.4. I don't know if they added anything in 1.4. I know that that's been ported over, but I don't know if that also includes like significant content or significant amounts of content. But those are like the only mods that I know much about at all. One time I played with like a lot of different mods all at once. But that wasn't really a full like playthrough, and there were so many that it kind of like melted together. So I didn't really know what content was from what mod. I don't really recommend doing that. Unless you want to spend like 100 hours on one world. You go ahead and get like all the mods that you want, but I feel like it just like messes up with progression. You beat like one boss and suddenly you're set for the next like 10 bosses. Because of how compact all the content is. Don't have a bug net. Oh, that's a good dude. What? Okay. Some stuff just happened. I don't need another set though. Guess I'll take that though. This would be good if I was using yo-yos. They changed this item. That's a lot of random things it does. It also went Wand of Sparking. That's interesting. In case you find him like at the very beginning of the game, you can get that. Also, I think I'm probably gotten enough souls of... Actually, I don't know. There's another weapon, the Sky Fracture, that I kind of want to make, but also it would require more souls. So if I just want to spend forever in the Underground Hollow, I could get enough souls for the boss summoning items, plus both of these weapons. Or I could just move on to the Corruption, get those souls, get the rest of the hard mode ores, and that would be it. And this weapon might be good enough for the boss, especially since once I defeat the twins, I'll make another weapon that I think will be better against Skeletron. We're saying Moonlord is your least favorite vanilla boss. I 100% agree. I hate that boss. Actually, the end of Terraria is so bad that I sometimes stop playing after Golem. Like, I'll prepare for the end game and then not play it. Like, fight Duke Fishron, fight the Frost and Pumpkin Moon. Oh, another traveling merchant. Do the Martian Madness, do all those events, and then stop playing because I don't want to go through the end of the game. It's real unfortunate. But I'll talk about that more once you actually get there. I think I'll probably move on to the Corruption in just a bit. Just this last guy. I probably should have kept the Reforge that increased the fire rate of this. You know, whatever. I guess I have a little bit more money now. Oops. Oh, right, that item. This is worse. Alright. Well, I'll have to get more money for that. Also, I don't even have good armor yet. If there was a sandstorm for longer, I could have gotten the... What are they called? Forbidden Fragments or something? That makes an armor set, which is really cool. I like that about hard mode. Where is this? Oh, right, you need to make a adamantite forge first. Like melee and ranged has the frost armor. Magic and summoner have the desert set, whatever it's called. Oh, here's the traveling merchant too. Shoot, I actually don't have enough money for that. I already have one. Forbidden set. Remember when throwing class existed? Yeah. I mean, like, now every mod has its own throwing class, so like, whatever. Just remember that this exists. Actually, there's water down there now. So I could just fall down without taking any damage. Oh, now it shoots even slower. I really should have kept that Reforge that increases fire rate because it does shoot quite slowly. But yeah, there's like two options for early game armor sets. You can either just make the titanium / adamantite armor set, or you could go with the slightly more specialized armor set that you have to go out of your way to get. Like getting those forbidden fragments or the frost. I guess actually I never realized the parallel there. you go to the desert to get the frost set for ranged and melee, and then you go to the snow to get the, or no, I think I mixed those around. You know what I mean. You go to snow to fight the mini boss for one of them, and you go to the desert to fight the mini boss for the other. Crystal Assassin, that's another option. I always felt like the Queen Slime was harder than the mech bosses. Just because of the number of projectiles. Like, maybe if you have a really tanky set with high defense, you could get away with that. They're very annoying. Oh wow, this has really short range. I did not know. I did not know that. It is really just like a shotgun. Yeah, I actually feel like just because throwing isn't a real class now, even less people are going to use throwing items. I can't even do block swap there. Like, the only throwing weapons you ever use are like the throwing knives or shurikens at the very beginning of the game. And even then you could make like a golden bow or something and that'd be more effective. I guess like B-nades. B-nades are a good option for any class, really. To get throwing in other games. Throwing is kind of a weird class, though. Like with all the classes in Terraria, it kind of goes from low damage, high defense to high damage, low defense. So like melee is the tankiest class, but they deal the least damage, or they deal the most damage in close range, but like mid to long range, they're not as effective, you know. Ranger is slightly more damage at with like medium defense. You know, it kind of keeps going, you know. Although Summoner, I feel like Summoner isn't really the highest damage class, and yet they're also has the least defense. But on those you know, on that like spectrum, where is throwing, you know? If you just like put them in between Ranger and Magic. I guess the benefit of Summoner is that you can use other weapons alongside the summons. Although that's kind of what whips are for. But if you want, you could totally use another weapon like just as effectively, plus the damage of the minions. I've always liked the mixed Summoner class, so you have summons plus your like main weapon, where you focus on both at the same time. And there are the old ones armor sets for exactly that, except they're more focused on sentries instead of regular summons, so I never use them anyway. There's a soul up there I'd like to get. Too bad this is corruption. I suppose. I do prefer corruption though. But maybe only slightly. Oh, that's a world feeder. Yeah, this weapon is actually really effective against worms. How do I get that? I guess I can just do this. Just let that drain for a bit. Corruption still just feels like the original evil biome. Even though both Corruption and Crimson have been around for quite a long time now. I guess there's the Cursed Flame, like spellbook. I don't know if that's a very effective weapon. But something else I want to talk about. What isn't effective against worms? This weapon? And this weapon? And like most guns. But most classes have like sub weapon types, you know. So for melee you have like swords or yo-yos or spears or flails, you know, there's a ton of different options. For ranger, there's less, like there's throwing weapons, which are pretty much only a thing in pre-hard mode. There's guns and there's bows, and those feel like the main ones. Later in the game you get like launchers, rocket launchers, and various other like miscellaneous weapons. They're kind of part of that category. For mage, I feel like there isn't that much of a difference. Like the weapons are so diverse that, like, there technically are different like types of weapons. Like there's staves and there's wands, or it's like spell books, you know. There are different types of weapons. But I feel like they're all like so similar that they don't really feel like different sub weapons. Because the magic weapons, that's kind of the appeal of magic weapons, that they are so diverse and like versatile. Like this is a spellbook that shoots projectiles, and this is a staff that shoots projectiles. Like they're basically the same thing. Whereas like yo-yos function completely differently from swords, which function completely differently from boomerangs, you know. And I suppose that, you know, guns and bows both also shoot projectiles, but they use different projectile types, you know. There's a ton of different type of bullets and a bunch of different types of arrows. That's the main thing that feels different, but I never feel like doing like a spellbook only run or a staff only run. Magic. They all kind of just feel like the same type of weapon. There's a lot of stuff going on up here. Oh, don't look at that. Projectiles, your favorite weapon? That's a lava trap. Okay, that's fun. I guess I can get more Cursed Flames. That was a lot of fall damage for like 10 blocks to fall down. Also, these Medusas drop a weapon. I don't think I've ever gotten that weapon ever. That's probably not true. But getting the weapon at the beginning of hard mode as a mage, I don't think I've ever gotten that. That's pretty much the only time it's useful. I've tried to that one. $10 Souls of Night so far. And a lot of adamantite. Maybe it's a minecart. I'll just kind of go along that for a bit. Explosive Bunny, didn't they nerf those? That you can't spam them, or their damage doesn't stack, or something like that? You used to be able to use those to just cheese most bosses in the game. I've never done that, but I've seen it before. In like any challenge where your space is limited, well, I guess like the wall of flesh, like, well, I guess we'll just use explosive bunnies for the insta kill. Oh, didn't even see him. They ruined it. Okay, this minecart just leaves the corruption. Right, that's lava. Okay, I guess I'll just run through it. That's because of the lava trap all the way up there. Or I missed this message. Summoner had a slug cast that you control one big enemy. There's a handful of weapons kind of like that in Calamity. The ones that are like, use all of your summoning slots on this one enemy, and then the strength of that summon depends on the summons slots used. I feel like those are never really effective. Like, there's diminishing returns on how much more damage stacking the summon deals. It's like, you can summon one to deal like 100 damage per shot, and for every new summon slot you have, it deals 50 more damage. Like, that's half as effective as just using like some other summon twice, you know? It should double, or it should deal 100 more damage per summon slot. Maybe they fix that. But I remember that being a thing, specifically for one item that lets you stack summon slots like that. Where it had diminishing returns. Like, why would you ever use more than like 1 or 2 summoning slots on that? But that is a cool idea. And like most summons, you don't actually have much control over. Like, you can choose which enemy they target, and that's pretty much it. But I guess at that point, it's less of like a summon and more of like a controllable weapon. Like, you're just attacking the same enemies, but instead of you being the one attacking them, it's the summon. Does that make much of a difference, though? I don't know. Jellyfish thing? What is this jellyfish thing? Yeah, let's look at our options right here. So this is the main. Huh. This is the main use. So 9 souls, 9 of each soul for the summons. These items can drop naturally from enemies. Also 80 damage. That's a kind of small upgrade. And isn't there the flower of frost that you get from the tundra? That sounds like it'd be just as effective. It's also an upgrade, but you don't have to like grind too much for it. Jellyfish attached to a string that you flail around with the mouse. What? I've never seen that before. I'd have to get forbidden fragments for this. And the desert lamp. That would be annoying. I think that's like pretty much all I would use these souls on, so I can just save them for the boss summons. And this is very much the same thing, just that weapon. Okay. And now I can make adamantite armor. I guess I didn't really mind that process. Like, you kind of get to explore the underground hollow and corruption and mine these ores at the same time. So I was getting the souls, I was getting crystal shards, I was getting these ores all at the same time. And then once you're done, you pretty much never have to return to those areas. That does less damage. Critical strike, maybe? So 80 damage, 4 critical strike, and 9 mana. Okay, much higher critical strike and lower mana cost, so this is an upgrade overall, plus just the extra defense. That's also good. Also, I don't even have this active. And this buff is permanent. I should have just left this down here somewhere. Okay, goodbye. Slightly smaller but big version of the boss. The boss as a playable character. So I think I pretty much have everything. Okay, I need wings. That's the main thing. I don't know what kind of wing I should make. I haven't even found any floating islands yet. Okay, goodbye, like Firefly or whatever that was. I wasted one of these early in the playthrough. And I was actually find something with it. Yeah, that also kind of goes against the idea of the summoner being like the more laid back class, where you have your summons that you send out and they just fight for you, so you can focus on dodging. But that would make it an interesting subclass, because instead of that kind of playstyle, you'd have to be much more active. Oh, I hate these floating islands. The ones with these lakes. Oh, doesn't matter though, because we're just after these guys. But when you're looking for actual like Sky Island items, it's really annoying when you find these instead. Also, spider. Ah, I'm getting destroyed. This weapon's low range is actually making this a bit difficult to hit. No, I didn't even pick up the gold. Okay, well actually I had the gravitation potion. I forgot about that. $17 souls, that's pretty good. You know, I had this idea for a Terraria mod. Now, I have no idea how to make mods, so I don't think I would ever be able to make this a real thing. But there's some weapons that... this is kind of something that Calamity does, where a lot of weapons have a ton of different upgrades. So you will make the like Fractured Arc, for example, in pre-hard mode, which then you can upgrade to like the Arc of the Ancients, and then the Arc of the whatever, and then the, you know, it has like 5 upgrades after that. That carries you to the rest, to the like end game. And so if you enjoy using the Fractured Arc, then you're gonna enjoy the rest of the playthrough, because you get to use a weapon like that gets continuously upgraded for the rest of the playthrough. But sometimes that happens, and there's a weapon that you enjoy using, but there's no upgrade to it. And so you only get to use it for the short time where that weapon is viable, and then it gets outcost, and you never get to use it again. Or it's like such a specific niche that you continue to use it even though it gets outcost technically, but you can still use it on the side as a useful like support weapon. The Phase Blade rework, I have seen that, it's very cool. I considered waiting until that update to do these streams of Terraria, but I would be waiting a good few months. It might not even come out this year. A weapon level up mod. But then the weapon doesn't really change that much. Like if there's multiple upgrades to the same weapon type, then it should change its function at least a little bit, so that it continues to be fresh, because you don't want to just use the same weapon for a whole playthrough. But there's a lot of weapon types that I feel like are interesting enough to like deserve that kind of progression, where you can use it throughout an entire playthrough. Like the Crimson Rod, for example, which I didn't get to use because this is a corruption world, unfortunately. That'd be the first change I make, to make the Crimson Rod have a corruption variant. But then in hard mode, first of all, you can get the Crimson Rod at the very start of pre-hard mode. Very, very start. But then you have to wait all the way until the start of hard mode to get the Nimbus Rod, which is the upgrades weapon. And even up until that point, it's still useful. You can use the Crimson Rod against the Wall of Flesh, and it'll deal some decent extra damage. But then after that point, the Nimbus Rod is the only weapon of that type. There are a handful of other weapons that are kind of similar to that, like the Magnet Sphere, the Rainbow Gun. weapons that you shoot and they kind of linger for a while and deal extra damage. So kind of like in between a magic weapon and a summoning weapon. Where you don't like you don't continuously use them, you shoot them out once and then you use a different weapon and then after a while you shoot it again, you know. I don't even think I need anything from this guy, except maybe the magnet. And so for those like rain cloud type weapons, it'd be cool if there were at least like 2 upgrades that could carry you through the rest of hard mode. And like the rainbow rod, for example, I really like the rainbow rod, the magic missile, the flame, whatever it's called. But the rainbow rod is the last weapon of that type, and Calamity has an awful upgrade to the rainbow rod that isn't an effective weapon at all. I wish that weapon was reworked. But it'd be cool if there was a rainbow rod type weapon that could bring you to like at least like Golem tier. Fairy, Harpy, and Frozen. Yeah, all those would take a while. I guess Fairy Wings would be the easiest to get. I guess I'll also get to farm a little bit of money for a reforge to this. No sandstorm. I guess that's better. Doesn't clog up all the spawns with desert enemies. About here? This is a good spot. Maybe if it wasn't so much water though. Let's make a little platform here. Alright, we will be here for a while. Best wings are the friends we made along the way. Oh, these decrease spawn rates. Yeah, get rid of those. But this kind of thing is like what I'm talking about. Oh, I want to get wings, so that means I have to go to the sky and like farm multiple wyverns, which sometimes they just refuse to spawn at all. And now I have to go to some other biome to grind some material to make the rest of the wings, which could be souls, which takes even longer. A bunch of like pixie dust or like a random drop from like a harpy for the harpy wings, for example. I guess I also need to get unicorn horns for the rainbow rod. Find a funny emote. Okay. There were also the wings from the witch doctor you could just buy immediately. I mean, I don't have any money right now, so I wouldn't be able to do that. That used to kind of be the go-to. I don't know if you can still buy it, but I think it's just worse. Like the actually has balanced stats for a wing that you can get at the very start of hard mode. Oh, light shards? Yeah, that too. If I want to get the sky fracture, because this weapon might be just as good. Well, even if the crystal storm isn't as good of a weapon, I want to use it anyway. Leaf wings. Okay, so they're just post-planetary and they're bad? That's funny. Did that slime spawn on those bricks that don't technically count as desert? Okay, 24. Got a quarter of the way there. I don't know if I'm too close to the wizard where they're reducing spawn rates. If I stand like right here. But I never even used leaf wings anyway. Because I just felt like they were kind of cheap. I mean, no, they weren't cheap at all, but they... just go to this place and buy the wings and that's it, you know? I guess it does make progression a lot faster. Shadow candle? Since when was this a thing? Oh, okay. That's specifically against the town NPC thing. I remember that. But does it increase spawn rates on its own? Because I don't know if the wizard is affecting spawn rates at all. There's still a decent amount spawning. And there's still just this windy day music playing. Does not increase spawn on its own. If I get this done fast enough, I'll have time to fight twins. It becomes nighttime. I think I feel pretty confident fighting those. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna get the Sky Fracture. Too much more effort for a weapon that's pretty much the same as the one that I'm already using. Yeah, I think it's probably better. It's probably a better weapon, but... Oh, unicorn. I guess if I wanted, I could forget about wings, just use the unicorn mount and create a really long platform to run across. I might have some pixie dust already. I might want to check that. We should have a pylon. No. I probably need another NPC. $100. Yeah, I need 100. I might have some already. Unicorns. Unicorn kite. You know, 1.4 added a bunch of fun items, and just throughout the game in general, there's a lot of like funny random items, you know, that are like fun to get and maybe to mess around with. But they also clog your inventory. There's just a lot more items that are dropping that you can't have. So, but they never have increased the inventory. So just in my inventory right now, there's the kites, the mummy shirt, the mummy pants. I guess that's only 3 items, which is pretty good, but I'm only fighting 3 enemies total. In an area with more different enemy types, there would be even more of those random items. So, okay, I'm gonna stop with these last 2. And I'll probably just have to return here if I don't have any already. 92. Okay. Still a bit more left. The pixie wings are basically the option if you just want wings. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll just grind for it. So pixie wings have kind of been my default wings. I usually prefer harpy wings though. But of course that's just like luck. If you're lucky and get harpy feather, you can just make the wings and that's it. It's way easier, of course. But I think it usually takes less time to grind out for the pixie wings than it does to try to get lucky with the harpy feather. Because every pixie you kill is like pretty much guaranteed to drop the pixie dust. Whereas it's a random chance for the feather. Also, being able to put these banners on platforms, best change in this game. Actually, like whenever you have this huge platform and you're farming enemies in like an event or something, you just put down the banners on the platform. You don't need to like make a block to put it on that also gets in the way if you're flying. And there's a fast clock too. It's also nighttime, so I actually just need one more. I will need to be fast about creating the arena though. Okay, that's a good reforge, so I won't go out of my way to change that. Should have enough time still. Okay, I should have built this from the other side. The pod is great. Everyone's favorite enemy. Ooh, I love platforms. Hopefully this arena is good enough. I mean, by arena, I mean just long platform. I'm usually content with that. Also, I don't even know if I can craft the summoning item. I should be able to. It's just the souls. I think souls of light for the twins. Some iron or lead. And then lenses. So it just depends on if I have lenses or not. Can't play mage without mana flower. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of an interesting idea to try to build around, like, can you find some other way to manage your mana that doesn't decrease your damage output as much? But yeah, usually it's just mana flower if you want to be using your weapon continuously. I do have enough lenses. Do I have a bewitching table? I don't think so. So I can't have an extra. Okay. Hello, welcome to the stream. We're now fighting these guys. Actually, the spider summon is really nice because they'll just have this extra debuff for the whole fight. It's kind of like something I was talking about earlier with there's some items that kind of feel necessary. Like the cobalt shield and its upgrades, the wings, the boots. All of those are items that I feel like I always use in a playthrough. Which means I only have like 1 or 2 slots to really like customize my character with. And usually it's just like some DPS upgrade and that's it. maybe if Terraria was more like Metroidvania, those would just be upgrades inherent to your character. So you would do something and then you get the like faster movement speed with boots, and then you enter hard mode, you do something, you get the wings, or you get the shield after doing the dungeon, you know? And then you'd have like a handful of accessory slots, maybe not as many, but just some accessory slots to customize your character for some specific build. The star could have helped out. I feel like this weapon is totally doing just fine. Bosses usually don't have too much defense, which is really nice because it means you can use pretty much whatever weapon you want on them. You are very inaccurate. Which means that it's actually even harder to dodge. I can have even more debuffs. Poison, Venom, and On Fire. Why not? Yeah, no way that's gonna hit. Just kidding. I actually really like this fight. All the laser spam seems like it's impossible to dodge, but if you just get into this pattern, you can like dodge everything easily. There we go. Yeah, Venom debuff is actually very strong. I think they buffed a lot of debuffs. That makes sense, buffing debuffs. But like Venom does pretty good damage actually, 15 per tick. Alright, well we got solid bars, which are not useful for me right now. Like, I can't really make the full armor set right now, and or like the pickaxe. For this, there's the harp. I didn't know it used Souls of Night. And I guess this would be the best weapon to use against the Destroyer, right? But this is the main one. And I think... Oh, I need more pixie dust. Alright. But I think I have everything else here. Was there anything... Yeah, more pixie dust. I think I missed something there. Crystal shards. Okay, so even more pixie dust to get life drain. Nimbus rod. Okay, I would love to get the Nimbus rod, but it has not rained at all. I don't think it's rained once, actually. Which actually sucks. I wanted to make a thumbnail or like a stream title that would reference the rain. Because it's just like Rain World, right? But then it never rained, so I couldn't do that. Also, I could totally make an artificial crimson. Oh, now there's a sandstorm. Very funny game. I guess it does increase spawn rates, though. I forgot to bring the water candle, whatever. And even if it did rain, I'd have to spend a lot of time just grinding for the Nimbus Rod to drop. I kind of wish that there were less items that were just random drops. Like with the Pixie Wings, for example. It takes 100 Pixie Dust, roughly. It's actually 99. 99 Pixie Dust to make these wings. But every Pixie drops like 1 or 2 Pixie Dust, guaranteed, right? Or it might be like 2 to 3 Pixie Dust. Either way, it's consistent, which means that you pretty much have to kill like about 50 Pixies, and then you get the wings. If it was instead like each Pixie has a 2% chance to drop a whatever, which you would then use to craft the Pixie Wings, I think that'd be a lot more annoying, because on average, it should also take 50 Pixies to make the wings. But maybe you get unlucky and it takes like 200 Pixies, right? If it's a consistent drop. I mean, of course, since they also drop a random amount of Pixie Dust, it might also take that many Pixies. But at most, 100 Pixies, if each one has like a minimum drop of 1 pixie dust, right? But just having it something as a random drop chance, it makes it feel more inconsistent. Or like you might get the drop on the first enemy that you kill, right? That's totally enough already. That's kind of janky looking. But some items prefer taking the random drop chance route over the like small resource that has a consistent drop, you know? If I get lucky, maybe I'll make the Ankh shield. Like I've already got these 2 items so far. I feel like I'm not going to get that lucky. Frozen shield, best shield. That's another case of items that you have to grind for. Is that the one that requires the Paladin shield? Because that one I have not had good luck with in the past. And then the frozen turtle shell, that too. Just takes a long time. I guess it's pretty much just the rest of the mech bosses that I have left, right? Here's the Rainbow Rod. Probably one of the more, or like one of the better visual effects in the game. Just because it was added fairly recently. Like, look at this projectile. And then look at this projectile, you know. But it works because this is only one projectile that you shoot at a time. Whereas for this, it's a bunch of them, so it makes sense that they don't look as good. Because this would just become too much of a mess if you had a bunch of them. I want to sell some items, because I'm not using them. And I need the money. Alright, I'll just sell these for now. Who's the happiest NPC I have? Maybe it's the arms dealer? Okay, that's pretty good. I have like about platinum right now. Alright, yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Yeah, I'll just stick with Ruthless. I won't mess around with that too much. I'll take that. I just realized all of these are defensive. They increase my defense, except this one. It's menacing. I don't really want to spend too much time looking for the perfect reforges, and I'm totally fine with defense. Yeah, it's pretty much. I think this would be a great weapon against Skeletron Prime, and maybe the other one. Yeah, Magical Harp. This would be good against the Destroyer. And I think I already have all of these. Sight, Knight, and Crystal Shards. Yeah, I actually should be able to make this right now. I don't have Pylon to the Wizard yet. Like 40 unsorted chests. I've done that before. It can be a bit annoying to actually like get started with organizing everything, but it is worth it after that point. Gotta go. Well, thanks for watching. Hey, I would like a heart. Oh, I have tons of mana potions. That's not really a problem. I'm gonna run out of these recall potions eventually. You can actually play music on these. Not like I'm able to. But it's possible. I also want to give this a good reforge. Okay, that's wonderful. You know, Calamity Mod has this system where each reforge, pretty much like each reforge that you do builds up until you. Actually, I need more Souls of Night. Just one though. So after like 6 or 7 reforges, I think you're guaranteed to get the best possible reforge. Which, I mean, like, it doesn't really make the system interesting at all, because you just spend a bit of money to make your weapon better, and that's it. But it's a lot better than the way it is now in vanilla, where it's basically just spend a bunch of money, where you might get a good reforge, you know, but it's just random, so you probably won't, and you might spend just all of your money on it. Maybe a kind of reforging system would be better if it was like you could choose exactly what reforge to get, but each reforge has its own like upsides and downsides, right? Where it's not just like, but you get the mythical reforge because it does the most damage. Like maybe on some weapons you want like the most damage possible, even if it's at the cost of fire rates, or maybe you want like extra pierce. Maybe if a reforge gave like extra pierce to a weapon, it'd make it effective against like multiple enemies at once. Maybe some reforges could increase like AoE damage, or not AoE, damage over time. You know, so more like diverse reforges, so you can actually work towards some specific build if you wanted to. I think that's all I need. Just in case. But with a reforging system like that, you would also have to balance it properly, which sounds like a pain. Every single weapon with all possible reforges, you need to make sure that all of them work properly. Like, what if there's a weapon where one specific reforge is way stronger than it should be? But also, that kind of thing is kind of fun to discover. Be like, oh wow, I found the perfect like weapon reforge combination. I think it's best when games have a bunch of systems like that, but that are actually intentional. It feels like you're always using some overpowered combination or breaking the game, but that's actually intended, and that's how you're supposed to play. A lot of roguelikes are like that, where you probably are going to end up with some broken combination of items by the end of the game. But that's exactly how it's designed, even though it feels like you're kind of like doing something unintentional. Or maybe they're not intentionally designed like that, but the developers just like, yeah, whatever, you know. They can go ahead and do that. It's a pain to like balance and fix everything that could possibly happen. I'm almost dead. So I need that. I need this. I need this. This. Okay. So I guess that's everything. I guess I could try to make more potions. I really don't have the greatest selection of potions right now. If I wanted better potions, I'd have to go out of my way to fish for them, which... No, I'm not gonna fish. And I guess we just sleep. It is nice that they have this, that you can use beds to speed up time. So like for these mech bosses, for example, I just need to wait for it to be nighttime before I can fight these. It is still annoying. If you're prepared to fight the boss right at the very end of the night, then you have to wait, and just wait an entire day before you can fight them again. Calamity has an item that lets you just switch between day and night whenever you want, and that item is really fun. It means situations like this never happen because you just switch to nighttime, and then if you want to, you can just switch back to day. This try is the mechanic. It's up here. I should switch these around. And then actually, I think that they actually prefer being with the die trading. So I guess the tavern keep will go up here. I don't really care about them. Alright, we're almost ready for this. Also, the moment I fight the destroyer, all these NPCs are dead. See? Yeah, just like prepare for that. Also, I should have extended this before it became nighttime. I think I prefer a longer platform for Skeletron, and if I want to get destroyer away from the NPCs. This is just a straight up wall for this platform, so it'll be the end of the arena. Alright. Skeletron first. Feel more confident against them. And this weapon is like perfect for them. Like a bunch of small enemies. So a piercing homing projectile is best. I don't have the shield. Okay, well that's the end of this fight. The prime laser is the main focus. I have enough range to stay away from all the melee ones, but the laser can still just snipe me. Oh, I never got a better grappling hook. Usually I get like at least a dual hook or something from the Corruptor Hollow Mimics, but I never found a single one of those this whole time. Oh, the laser's gone. I think that's the end of this fight, pretty much. She's gone. Not yet. We'll see. So that was a pretty awful start to the fight, but it's fine now. As long as you don't get stuck like I did, there's like not much danger. This is pretty bad as melee though. You know, if I was playing melee, I would talk about this, but you really don't have many good options for early hard mode melee. This does more damage. I need spider. The spider attacking me. No. Magic or Rainbow Rod is still the best option. And at this point, the fight is basically just effortless. There we go. I don't think I have enough to make the full armor set, so I'm just going to continue right away. Shadow Flame Knife, I guess that's a decent option. Alright, ready for this fun moment? Now there's all these guys. Probes. So it's fun to do that. And now I have like infinite mana that's laying around here. Rip Demolitionist. Yep, it's happening now. You know, this is going to be an easy fight, I think, because this weapon is just like perfect against this boss. But I actually don't like this boss for most situations, because if you don't have a perfect weapon, and if you have like somewhat low defense, then these lasers do a lot of damage. And he just spams so many lasers that it's kind of just impossible to dodge all of them. I mean, I definitely could have dodged that one if I had just jumped. Like, look at this. This is the laser spam. This would go by even faster if I had the Nimbus Rod dealing extra damage on top. There we go. This is probably the easiest mech bosses that I've fought in a long time. I also haven't really played Magic in a long time either. They were stronger than I thought. Now, early hard mode is a little bit slow, so I'm going to try to pick up the pace a bit now. I can make a minecart. Minecart upgrade kit. I'll grab the rest of this. What time is it? Can't see the moon. Do I have enough time to fight them? Especially with this weapon. There's so many ways to choose them. I find that sometimes Destroyer probably has the most variation in people's opinion of the fight's difficulty. Like for some people it's extremely easy. Like this fight was extremely easy because of the magical harp. It's very effective. If you use like a repeater with the arrows that are piercing, that's a very effective weapon. Some melee weapons are... Well, actually, I find that the fight's usually annoying as melee, just because you have to get close. Although melee does have better defense against the lasers. Although, I have angered both of them at the same time. I usually find Destroyer to be the hardest, even though it was really easy with this weapon. Okay, that was not that bad. Now I could definitely make everything. That's definitely enough for the full armor set now. Now, hollowed armor, I actually really like this decision. It used to be that titanium armor, which is the alternate ore of like adamantite. So this set bonus, this Mecha Mayhem, no. This set bonus is 19% reduced mana cost, which is like alright. The titanium armor set bonus was when you hit enemies, there's a chance that you would get a buff that makes you immune to the next hit that you take. So the next time that you would take damage, it deals no damage at all, and you have some immunity frames. And then there'd be a cooldown before you could get that dodge again. And it basically meant that every once in a while you just wouldn't take damage from some hits, which made titanium by far the better armor set compared to adamantite, and also compared to hollowed armor. So you might stick with titanium armor all the way until like post Plantera. But now they have moved that armor set from titanium to hollow. So now set bonus become immune after striking an enemy. That's actually genius because now adamantite and titanium armor are balanced, And hollowed armor is actually like, it has a good set bonus for when you're able to make it post mech monsters, right? And since this is also about the time where you could make I'm curious about something. You could also go to the jungle to make glorify armor. And glorify armor is like initially it's more effective. Oh wow, that's actually was worth it. Glorify armor is more of the offensive armor set. It deals more damage. But the hollowed armor gives you an incredible defensive ability. So there's like, do you want to stick with the hollowed armor, or do you want to go straight for the glorify armor, or the armor set that you can make after that, right? Titanium is still better, but adamantite is easier to mine. I think it's more common to find than titanium, so I actually prefer you don't have to spend too much time mining. It's one of the more annoying parts of early hard mode. Oh, did the guide die? Yeah. Looks for him. I don't think there's anything else I want to make with these items. So now we head to the jungle. This is an interesting part of the game. Yeah, interesting. Is there even anything I want to make with chlorophyte? I don't know. Oh yeah, yes there is. There is. I will mine a little bit of it. Newer, they're added in 1.2. Yeah, they still feel like the new ores. I understand. I usually don't like this part of the game, to be honest. Because it depends on how much you want to prepare. Because the next fight is Plantera. And Plantera is you fight them in the underground jungle. And this place is just a huge mess. So usually, if you want the best chance of winning the fight, you want to have an arena. Which means digging out a huge square in the underground jungle, which is full of awful enemies. And then you fight the boss in that square. And this process just takes a long time, just because of how chaotic the jungle is. You're probably going to die a few times. It just takes a long time just to dig out that much space. And to actually like set up the arena. So I usually make an arena. That's usually what I do to prepare for Plantera. But I might avoid that. I might just try to make a path. So like, make sure that I have an easy way to go like along this, and then maybe loop back around. And then just keep doing that for the whole fight. Because it might be easier to dodge if I'm constantly running away. I'm also on the lookout for these. Life fruit. Some people like to immediately max out their life with the life fruit, and I don't want to do that. They just take a long time to find. So I'm fine with just picking up with whatever I can, whatever I stumble across, I'll use it, and then, you know, when I'm ready for the fight, I don't like go out of my way to fill up the rest of the health. Don't think I'll need to mine much more chlorophyte than this. Actually, that's not true. I'll need to mine a lot. But chlorophyte is mostly useful post Plantera, depending on your class, of course. Some classes use it more than others. But I pretty much just need to make the armor set with chlorophyte, and then that's it. So enough to make the armor set, and that's good. But since I don't need it right now, I might not mind too much. And chlorophyte grows. Kind of weird property of chlorophyte. It spreads. So the longer you wait, the more chlorophyte there will be. But also there's a limit to how much can grow within a certain area. So, you know, it may be worth it to not mine all of it, but to mine some of it, you know? That way you can clear up space for more to grow in its place. So the next time you visit, there will be a bunch waiting. As for an arena, also I need to find the Plantera bulb. Another part of the process that may be kind of annoying. Actually finding the summon, and unlike the mech bosses, you can't just craft it. I know that there is at least one Plantera bulb somewhere in this world, and that's all the information I have. Which is not, honestly, it helps sort of, but does not make that big of a difference. Still just searching for a handful of items across the entire underground jungle. It's just gonna take a while. There's a whatever that is called. Really? Might be the first. Well, no, it definitely isn't the first time I've gotten that item. But it's very rare. Does anyone actually go out of the way to farm the Uzi for the start of a ranger? Or like, as a ranger at the start of hard mode? Does anyone actually do that? Or the Gatligator? Is that what it's called? The like... Oh, I didn't expect that. The weaker chain gun that the Charlie Merchant sells. I actually kind of wanted to talk about that already. There's some options that are just like kind of unreasonable. I think I'm good. Yeah, I think I'm good. There's some really cool weapons out there that are just RNG. Where if you're very lucky, you will get that weapon exactly when you need it. Otherwise, you know, you're never gonna have an opportunity to use it. It's worth. No, I don't think it is. Zappinator? I don't like that weapon. Is the guide here? Yeah, they are. I'll check if there's anything else I can make them glorify. This thing. I don't know why you get this so late in the game. It's broken? Yeah, it is broken. I don't want to use something that doesn't work. Haha. Like, actually, I know that it can do a lot of damage. I'm very much aware of what it's capable of. I just don't really like using the weapon. Like, the reason I played Mage in the first place is so that I can use this weapon, because it's like one of my favorite weapons in the game, the Rainbow Rod. And Plantera is like a great fight to use it. So I'm not using some other like janky weapon on it. So Venom Staff. I don't think I've ever used this either. So this is a very happy Goblin Tinker. Don't sell it. Damage, thank you. I guess I'll take this. This might also be effective. We'll see. What's Rainbow Rod using? So yeah, we're still just gonna have to try to get lucky with finding the... Oh, so okay. The other thing is same damage as poison staff. I disagree. Actually, because it shoots more projectiles on average. At least it should, if the wiki is correct. So I did a little bit of research beforehand. It does very similar amount of damage, but with more projectiles and a better debuff. Which might be the only reason I use it. But if I can apply the debuff to like all of the like tentacle things that Plantera has, and then use the Rainbow Rod, but this might just have better DPS overall, because it's like, that's a lot of projectiles that it shoots. Rainbow Rod might be better anyway against like multiple tentacles, but I'll use this for the debuff and then switch to it. So I'm gonna look for the Plantera bulb and for life fruit. It does have a pretty big spread, so it's probably not great against random enemies. Plantera is much larger though. Let's go over here actually. That is a good debuff though. If I really want to min-max, I could hit every enemy with one Venom Staff shot, then switch to the Rainbow Rod. Adding Rain World creatures to Terraria. I think that'd be kind of weird. Rain World just doesn't really mesh well with like most other games. I missed the life fruit. Thank you. You're saying because of the metal detector? Because some life fruit are definitely made of metal. It was visible to the Splunker potion. Wow, that's a lot of damage. I mean, it's also my fault for just standing on them, but I did not expect to die in like 2 seconds. Now they're dead too. Oh man, it's annoying that you spawn at half health, really. Calamity has a thing that changes that, so that you can eventually get an upgrade to spawn at full health. But it basically just means that you're on life potion cooldown whenever you die. Somewhere like around here. There it is. The small one. I don't think there's nearly enough space here to do what I wanted to. I kind of wanted to create like a loop, like maybe around this area, this size, and I could loop, drag Plantera around in that path. These rooms aren't nearly like large enough for that. I'd have to just dig it out myself, which is basically just the same as making an arena. I keep looking for another more open area. This is no longer the jungle. Maybe along this track. So you found a mimic. It's actually one item I'd really like from this, and they didn't drop. Well, Philosopher's Stone is actually really good, but that's another like defensive item over an offensive one. I think I'd prefer. Fuel hook. There we go. That's actually the one I wanted. This is a huge area. Hello? This might just become the arena without much modification at all. Okay, yeah, I think I found it. I just kind of like circle around this area to determine how large it is. Oh wow, okay. Yeah, this is much better. This is what I always imagined the jungle looks like. And then in reality, you end up in an area that looks like this. Whoa, don't ever touch these guys. Still no Plantera bulb though. If I found one next to this area, that'd be nice. You know, there's pretty much no chests that you can find in hard mode. Like, you're gonna continue to find chests that were generated at the start of the world, right? They're gonna have hard mode items in them, and they're not very useful to you, right? It'd be cool if there are at least a few areas that were exclusively hard mode. I mean, there's the jungle temple, right? That's pretty much the only one. But even the jungle temple chests are like regular pre-hard mode chests plus the power cell. Right? That's the only change. And you still can access those chests in pre-hard mode pretty easily, actually. You just aren't able to actually spawn the boss in. I think that there'd be something around here. You know, I don't have a spider right now. That was my problem. Some bread. Aw, meteorite has landed. It's very useful right now. This is kind of taking a bit too long. This is a building just completely filled with lava. That's funny. One of those underground houses. There's a chest somewhere in there. At this point, if I do find a Plantera bulb, it'll take a while to get it back to this arena. Although maybe just going from down here all the way up, maybe that's enough time to defeat the boss. And just keep moving the whole way. Moth. Probably too late now. You saying that for the wings? Yeah. I don't know. I would have to like farm more souls of flight, right? I might just wait until a better pair of wings. I don't know what that would be though. Something post Golem maybe? There's still nothing. Going great. Maybe like the Beal wings? I don't know if they actually have good stats though. They're just like probably the easiest post Golem wings to make. At least I think so. That scared me. The wings are meh. Yeah, I thought like if they're that easy to make, they're probably not very effective. Thank you. Oh shoot, that's a lot of gold I just dropped. Fish run, yeah, fish run wings. I never go out of my way to fight fish run, really. I think I will fight them, probably after Golem. It's just like if I get lucky enough to get the wings. Oh, I'm definitely out of space here. All right, well, we still didn't find any. And this is like half of the jungle already. Not looking great. Pre-golem. Yeah, I mean, usually the golem fight is like easy enough to just like do straight after Plantera. Even though Plantera unlocks a lot of content too. I might just like go over here and just dig straight down, maybe. Like starting from here, maybe. It just became dead town, which is why it stopped glowing over here. That was because of the moon glow. I kind of wanted to be done with Plantera already. Even if I do, well, actually, I guess it wouldn't take too long. Also, I just now realized that the temple is going to get in the way. Maybe I could dig to the left of it. Yeah, here it is. Then I'd be even further. Well, I guess I might as well check it out. And you can fight Duke Fishpond whenever you want. You can fight them at the very beginning of hard mode, I think. Which I do like. I never do that personally. Because I'm not very good at the game. But if you want to, you can just fight Duke Fishpond and basically skip the rest of hard mode because you haven't overpowered stuff. Which I appreciate when there's options like that in games. You've already proven that you're skilled enough to basically just skip everything. There are really spikes outside of that temple. That's interesting. Another dual hook. Mimics actually drop a ton of money. I just realized what this means. They probably sell like surface chest items. They were selling the wand of sparking earlier, and now the plants, whatever. So if you're, that means that those are like renewable items, because usually there were just a handful of them in the world. And if there was one that you really wanted, like the aglet or the radar, because those can make upgraded accessories, then you just have to generate a new world to look for those chests. But now I guess you can just wait for the skeleton mission, although that's still very luck based if you get the right one, and you have to go around looking for them. Continuing to look for Terra. At this point, I'll have to find another path back to that, like arena-like area. So far, this is taking much longer than it usually does, in my experience. Even if it takes a while to find it, you know, exploring like this much, that's usually enough. You know, actually, I think that, like, after post-Plantera content is probably my favorite part of the game. Like, the start of hard mode. I do enjoy the, like, very start of your hard mode. I do enjoy that part of the game quite a bit, actually. The start of hard mode can be a little bit grindy, and the very end of hard mode, I already talked about. I didn't like that. And like post Plantera, I feel like it's also like pre Plantera. What I'm doing right now of like trying to set up an arena or to look for the bulb. And then if you die to the fight, you have to do it all over again. So not really a fan of this. But then after Plantera, you can go to the dungeon and get a bunch of items there. You can fight the Frost and Pumpkin Moon. A lot of items to get there. You can fight the Empress of Light, and then right after Golem, which is alright. I mean, Golem's kind of like a mixed bag, but right after Golem, there's like the Martian Madness, there's Duke Fishon, which is like, that's about where you're supposed to fight them, even though you can fight them whenever, really. I think that's like most of the like best content of the game at about this stage, or a little bit after this stage. Hey, it happened again. It also has probably my favorite armor sets that basically determine like exactly what class you're playing. Like you could like Solid Armor, for example, you just pick the armor or the headpiece that fits your class, and that's it, right? But for post Plantera armor sets, you have to go out of your way to make an armor set for your class. It's like there's the Spectre set for mages, there's the Shroomite set for rangers, there's the Beetles set, you know. And each of these sets have like very unique set bonuses that are specifically for that class. I might want to check through the areas that I've already explored, because the Plantera bulb could have shown up in that time. They can't kind of just pop in whenever. It'd be cool if they showed up on like the metal detector or the creature, the rare enemy, whatever. Lifeform detector. guess the time that it takes to prepare the arena is usually enough time for the transferable to grow. Maybe like here is a good place to look. Any part of the map that isn't filled in completely. That spider's stuck. Yeah, just wandering around. I would like to get this fight done before the end of the stream. I don't know if that will happen. False hope with that demon altar. Just looking for something that's glowing. Another pretty open area. Not where I've already been. Also, I probably passed by like 20 life fruit. There's one. Not looking too closely for those. I guess I could go back to where I died. Pick up that money. The bee's attacking me. Hey, look at this guy. He's got like, he stole all my money. 23 gold. Oh, there it is. Okay. It was right next to a life crystal, except life crystals don't grow. Or, they don't glow. And the moth. Maybe I can make a loop here. Like from here connecting to this area, and then I can loop around like this for the fight. That's a lot of fish. I would need to widen some of these tunnels connecting these areas. Just what? There's just feral claws in this? Nothing else? That's funny. Like these tunnels would be too like narrow to fit through quickly in a fight. Maybe I could just bomb them out. I have like 200 bombs. Saving up bombs for the entire playthrough and never really using them outside of the very beginning of the game. Here's a good time. Usually for the Terraria, I just buy a bunch of dynamite demolitionists. I know another strategy for Terraria is to dig just a big tunnel like this with bombs, and then then just fall through that area while like shooting up at Terra. So at this point, this area is open up enough for me to just run freely. Open this a bit. Making sure that there's a good path along this whole loop. I think I would enter back in through this area. I'm out of torches. I'm out of wood too. And then I might want to open up a path here and then go through the marble biome. That bombing upwards is much slower. We've gone too far. What, like digging out half of the jungle? I don't know what you're talking about. I just ate something. I don't know what it was. Some of these areas might be pretty bad during the fight. Usually you can get some decent distance away from Terra if you're moving fast enough, so maybe when I get to these points, I'll just run through instead of focusing on dealing damage. It opens up much more here. You basically just run. I don't want these to be in the way. Can you please stop? Also, these moss hornets, they shoot way too fast. Like one hornet alone can shoot so many projectiles. It's a little excessive, in my opinion. Oh, I just threw those all on the chlorophyte. That's fun. Nice shot, dude. I still don't have enough defense to adequately protect against even the basic, like, hard mode enemies. Some of them still deal a lot of damage. Okay, I think that's like the whole loop cleared up. This area is not great. I may have to rush. I mean, I might just go through this area at the very start of the fight, and maybe I'll defeat Terra by the time I get back to the start. Can't believe they missed me. And just in case, I'll get rid of those explosives. Okay, I think that's pretty much everything prepared for the fight. I could try to look for more life fruit. Swiftness. I like these 2 potions. Cactus. Why do you need cactus for swiftness potions? I have no idea. It's just how it is. And I think these reforges are good enough. We're just ready for the fight. This may go horribly. Now, I really wanted this playthrough to be quite thorough. Like, get through all of the content there is in this game. At least the most reasonable content. Some of it is a little too niche. Like, the Frost Legion is a thing that exists in this game. But, like, is there really any reason to do that? And after Plantera is where the most of that content is. At least where this is probably the most dense. All that stuff that I was just talking about. I really don't want to take this much damage before the fight. And so things may slow down a bit after this point, but I think that'd be a good point to stop the stream, though. Because that means that there's a lot to do next time. Honestly, I could totally just hang out around here for the whole fight. Also, I've definitely regened enough. Watch this one drop it. Of course not. Full health. I think we're ready. Looks like DPS should actually be better with the Rainbow Rod. But the projectiles might get blocked by the environment. Now I need to keep moving now, or else the spike balls are gonna pile up. Also, I need to always keep the Venom debuff active. Regen a little bit of life there. Yeah, she will attack you through walls if you are also attacking her back. Honestly, I could totally just like wait for the debuff to do all the damage. Oh, I used up my dodge on the lava. Somehow I dropped into a pool of lava and dodged it. Does that make sense? There's a turtle. I'd really rather that not be a problem. I forgot which way I'm supposed to go. About to change phases, so I might slow down a bit and just wait for... Oh, here's honey too. Just crafted fire, egg, and karma flower together. Yeah, let me just do that real quick. Is that a phase change? Yes, it is. And I can actually just keep firing as much as I want. No projectiles would be coming back. As long as I keep my distance. I want to stay in this more open space just to give the Rainbow Rod room to breathe. Actually surprising how long the Venom debuff lasts. There we go. That actually worked out pretty well. The beginning of the fight was a little bit strange. I didn't get the weapon, although I think the weapon is the bramble, whatever. Which I don't think is very effective. Well, there's also the leaf gun, right? Some of those weapons are kind of forgettable, honestly. It's nice that I didn't die to that, because then it would have taken even longer to look for another Pantera bulb. But I might just like find one right now. That'd be kind of funny. Leaf blower, is that what it's called? I guess the Seedler is pretty good for a Pantera weapon. The entrance should be right about next to that pool. Right here. Most of the good magic weapons are right after Plantera. Like from the Frost Moon. There's some good ones. Is this too high up? No, this is it. My strategy for the temple is just to never touch the ground. What are you doing here? Radar? Do I have a radar? I might as well get it. I didn't. Wonder how long I'm gonna have this spider summon. Do I need to do the solar eclipse at all? What does drop from that? Like the flask thing? I don't think that's that great. Yeah, I might not have to do that at all. Although I think I probably will do it still, just for the sake of doing it. Liver damage? What? So some mana potions can't be healthy. That's what the mana sickness debuff is. Also, I find it strange that you can just get a solar tablet, and you're like only ever gonna need to do the event like once and maybe twice if you're unlucky. And they give you enough for like to do like 20 events. It's a bit strange. Wow, chest detected nearby. Can you believe it? One thing that's really annoying in the jungle temple is when enemies die, they leave all this like stuff on the floor. And they obscure your vision so you can't see the pressure plates. That's actually like the worst part about the enemies here. When they die, they make it hard to see the traps. But I'd like just avoid the ground entirely, so like another solar tablet. Like now the like fragments are unnecessary. This is not, I mean, this is an alright arena. It's not that big. A little bit used to Calamity giving you just a massive square arena every time. Also, I realized I don't have much materials for platforms. I just have 22. I could just pick this up, take it with me. So get rid of this, and I should probably head back. Nah. Oh, Venom first. The main difficulty of Golem is if you have bad RNG and get a very small arena. If you're able to bring Golem outside of this arena, then it becomes actually completely free. Because also the fireballs bouncing around is another big problem. But they actually didn't do that much damage when I got hit by one. And the lasers are just like very fast projectile that you can get hit by easily. I'm not really doing that much damage, but that makes sense because I'm using a post-mech boss weapon against Golem. It's like still working all right. No, that's kind of hard to hit. I've been getting very good lucky with trapping merchants. They're showing up constantly, like pretty much every day. It's like it should be how it works, but there's been times where I need an item from the traveling merchant and I just don't get one to show up at all. Just like the rain. Oh, the head does contact damage, really? I'm really not a fan of contact damage. If you're just sitting there, why are you dealing damage to me? Unless you're like covered in spikes. Golem stream, that game? No. But it's just like Rainbow. Okay, this might actually be kind of close. Okay, we're good. Don't die to the fireballs. Big saw, that's nice. Can I just... Yeah, we're good. I felt like even if I did die there, maybe the poison would be enough if they didn't despawn immediately. Oh wow, fishing. Actually, I do need a fishing rod. I actually went there for the nurse. And very funny game. Another sandstorm. Right when I needed it. Enraged? Wait, does he actually get enraged? Actually, I'll keep this in the... There. small stat increase. As long as there's not like AI changes. Like Enraged, Plantera, or Queen Bee are like awful. I kind of want to get a better weapon first though. Because that did take a while with the Rainbow Rod. So mud blocks don't go in there. There's also the dungeon. There's like a ton of options now. Actually, dungeon has a bunch of weapons. Let's head there. I guess I kind of fought the golem for no reason, but I could be more prepared for that. Terraria enemy randomizer. That would be bad. Progression is way too spread out. And if you get lucky and just like get a really good weapon, then you're set, you know. Oh, this guy actually wants to. Thank you. I much prefer this dash over the shield. This is a kind of a weird place to farm enemies. I've seen a few more extreme randomizers for Terraria, where enemies and like drops are randomized, which also is kind of not good because you get like one endgame weapon and the rest of the game is just like free if you get lucky with some drop. So dungeon has this interesting property where each area, depending on the background wall, has a different set of enemies that spawn in. And you can also tell by the banners. So this banner right here, the necromantic sign, this means that the enemy that I don't remember the name of will show up. The one that shoots the like laser projectile. Which is really cool because if you want a specific item, then you go to that specific part of the dungeon to farm for it. There they are. They're just necromancers. And each area has a unique magic weapon, so I think I want to get like all of those. There's all these chests, which kind of make me sad. These biome chests. I feel like they had potential. Because basically each biome has a chest for some class, you know. So there's, you know, the Crimson/Corruption chest for melee, the Jungle chest for range, Hollow chest for mage, the Snow chest for summoner, or I guess sentry summoner. The problem is to unlock these chests, you need to find a key, and this key drops with a very low drop chance from enemies in that biome. It's a very low chance. So if you want to get this item that is actually like very unique, all of these weapons that drop in the biome chests are very unique, and they're like all like worthwhile except for the snow one. Maybe I don't really like that sentry. I guess like unless you're like specializing around sentries, and the ranger one is like mediocre in my opinion. But they're all very unique weapons. It'd be cool if you had easier access to them, because just grinding out enemies in a specific biome just takes forever. It's just luck based. Like I would really like to use the rainbow gun, but that would just, maybe I'll do that off stream if I decide to end the stream very soon. Actually, I think I will. But rainbow gun, the thing is that it's free damage. You shoot it out, and the rainbow is there, and it deals damage to stuff. And you switch to another weapon. It's just free damage. Same with the magnet sphere. I'd love to get the magnet sphere, but that's also quite a low drop chance. The crimson, what are they called? The vampire knives, the corruption, the crimson one. Those are also like really interesting weapons. The vampire knives used to be completely broken, and they've got nerfed several times, and they're still a good weapon. But this when I was talking earlier about this like mod that I kind of wanted to make, if I knew how to make mods, I think it would be for that semi-mage, like halfway between mage and summoner class, with these like passive weapons, where instead of using one weapon and constantly shooting projectiles, like this rainbow rod that I'm using, you constantly shoot out projectiles to hit enemies. Okay, but this like subclass would be more about switching between as many different weapons as possible, where you switch to this weapon, shoot a projectile, switch to that weapon, shoot a projectile, you know. So like the Nimbus Rod and the Crimson Staff, they shoot out the clouds that just deal damage to any enemy that goes beneath them. The Rainbow Gun shoots a rainbow that lingers for a long time that deals damage. The Magnet Sphere shoots a magnet sphere that lingers for a long time and just hits any enemy that gets close. So if you had all these weapons together, you could switch between them, and they would all deal passive damage that would stack together. I think it'd be cool if there were more weapons like that, so that you could do an entire playthrough with just those types of weapons. Paladin, maybe shield. I don't know if I want to use the shield, even if I do get it. Oh, cursed. Just gonna be waiting around. Spider carry. So there could be like more, maybe like a late pre-hard mode weapon as an upgrade to the Crimson Staff, or like an alternative, because Corruption doesn't even have access to that type of weapon. An easier way to access the Nimbus Rod plus upgrades for it. Maybe a like pre-hard mode Rainbow Rod or Rainbow Gun, similar names. I'd like if there's a multiple versions with a Magnet Sphere. And what you can do is that, say for the Magnet Sphere, let's say that there's a pre-hard mode Magnet Sphere, and it has a similar effect. And then later in hard mode, once you get the real Magnet Sphere, you can combine the two together and to make an even stronger one, you know. And you could do that with all the weapons types. So maybe like the Crimson Staff, the like pre-hard mode Nimbus Rod, you can combine that with the Nimbus Rod and then create an even stronger one, right? I think that'd be an interesting subclass, because you'd feel like an actual like a mage, like switching between all sorts of different spells and combining all their abilities together. But all of those items that I named are pretty much the only examples in the whole game that work like that. But I feel like making those items wouldn't be too difficult with a little bit of modding experience, because you just need to take the already existing weapons and make slight modifications. It's like a new sprite, new stats, and like maybe a new projectile. Although that limits your creativity if you aren't able to like program something on your own. But just the actual process of making a mod in the first place kind of sounds daunting. The Paladin. What's it throwing? they're all piled up right here. That was a mistake. I get. Oh, hey, that's an item that I want. Knight's Edge Yo-Yo. That's really, you know, that reminds me. Pretty much every mod has its own Knight's Edge version of everything. Like there's I really didn't get any good items at all. The Knight's Edge is a cool concept. You take some item from many different pre-hard mode biomes, combine them together to make the Knight's Edge version of that weapon, which is like the best pre-hard mode weapon for that class. And then you make a weapon out of hollowed bars or some hollowed themed weapon, combine them together, or to make two versions of them first and then combine them together, you know, and then you have the Terra, whatever. Do that for every single type of weapon possible. Alright, if I had the other version of this, whatever it's called, I'd be able to combine all these items together. But I think that's going to be the end of the stream. I didn't make as much progress as I wanted to. I think mostly just because it took a long time to find the Plantera bulb, like this, all of this. But that usually takes a long time to get through in any playthrough, really. Shot projectiles. That's something that mods like Calamity do really well. All the yo-yos have unique effects, whereas in vanilla Terraria, the final yo-yo in the game is the only one with a unique effect at all. All of them just have different stats like range and damage, and how long you can hold it out. Actually, I guess I could try this just to see what this is like. Oh yeah, the B one. That was just added too, right? Ow, it really spawned right on top of me. Bird if you were up here on this platform, or whatever. That one creates bees when it hits enemies, right? What a unique effect. Some of them have like status effects, like inflicting frostburn. How unique. Yeah, this fight is way easier when there's no walls around you. Not like the beekeeper did that. Yeah, the other melee weapon. So far, I'm not noticing anything that makes this fight more difficult on the surface. Like, this is still just way easier, even if it's just taking longer. Or it still takes quite a long time because I don't have the greatest damage. That was dumb. That's me. Minor stat increases. Yeah, definitely just way easier to do it like this. Do you need the pick saw to pick up the altar? Or do you just need to have defeated Golem first? I think I might be noticing one stat change. If their defense is a lot higher, I'm only dealing like 50 damage per hit. 30 damage sometimes too. For a weapon that should deal 60. Okay, I guess that's not too much. A lot worse than legendary mode though. You need a pixel, but can't you also use like actuators? Okay, these lasers actually deal a lot of damage. A lot of fireballs. They patched that out. Okay. So you definitely need the actuator. Or you definitely need the pixel. I would really like the magic weapon this boss drops. It's actually hilarious how much you can cheese the whole jungle temple. Just everything about it. You can go through the door that locks you out. You can just poke through the walls anyway. The boss is one of the more cheesable bosses in the game just because it can't go through walls. You can take the spawner out of the arena. There's like so much you can do. Okay, well, this wasn't the magic weapon I was talking about, but I guess it's okay. Anyway, I think this is a good point to start, or to stop. Yeah, this is a good time to start the stream again. Go for another 3 hours. Still got like a decent amount done. I actually don't need these at all. I might do a little bit of stuff off stream. Underrated. Actually, it got buffed recently, I think. It fires much faster than it used to. So actually, I think I will use this. I mean, it's definitely stronger than those other weapons just because of its high base damage. I might do a little bit of grinding off stream. Just a bit, kind of to prepare for all of the events and stuff. Also, I just realized a mistake I just made. I should have done the Old One's army before fighting Golem, because now they're going to be a lot stronger. But I mean, who cares about the Old One's army anyway? It's like I might just prepare for the next few events, or do stuff like getting life fruit, or just kind of like mundane stuff. And then when I actually do the boss fights and events, you know, we'll get back to that. So thanks everyone for watching. I did a bit of mining off camera, and then just the whole world is destroyed. No. Whoops, wrong item. Kill some Moonlord. Yeah, like I actually got Calamity mod, and we're ready to fight Providence. No. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. See ya.